Welcome to the Leadership and Learning Podcast with Dr. JBT, where we dive deep into the art of leadership for emerging and advancing leaders. Whether you're just starting out or looking to sharpen your skills, this podcast is your go-to resource. We'll explore real-world scenarios, actionable solutions, and expert advice with insights drawn from Dr. JBT's own experiences and interviews with seasoned leaders. If you're serious about growing as a leader, you've come to the right place. Welcome back to Leadership and Learning with Dr. JBT. This week, I was having a conversation with a few of my leaders about delegation. I have always prided myself on being great at delegating. I learned when I was younger that I can't do it all, nor do I need to if I surround myself with great people. I need to trust my team and empower them to do the work, not just follow my instructions. In fact, empowering your team members through delegated tasks is a great way to build a healthy culture, and I feel like I do this well. However, during the conversation, my two team members looked at each other and got smirks on their faces. Smirks. Of course, I jumped in to find out why were they smirking, and they were honest. They challenged me on whether or not I was really good at delegating. What? Ouch! That stung. I appreciated the honest feedback, but it stung. Well, it caused me to pause and reflect about an experience a few years back. I had a team member describe me as a seagull. She said that when I delegated projects, she would dive in and start making progress, great progress. But just when things were moving along, I would swoop in, give a bunch of untimely feedback, and then disappear. In her words, I was flying in, pooping on her project, and flying away. Now, as funny as that image is, it was a real wake-up call for me. She helped me see that how we give feedback after delegating matters just as much as the delegation itself. If we constantly circle back with the off-the-cuff critiques, we risk disempowering the very people we're trying to trust with responsibility. I'd love to say I have fully overcome my seagull ways, but the recent interaction reminded me that this is still a growth edge for me. Delegation isn't just about handing something off. It's about giving clear direction up front, agreeing on checkpoints, and then providing feedback in ways that build confidence instead of tearing down momentum. I want to provide some approaches to delegate well, knowing full well that I need to follow my own advice here more consistently. First, give clear direction up front. Define the why. People need to understand the purpose behind the task, not just the task itself. Without it, they may deliver a final product that technically checks the boxes, but doesn't meet the real need. When you anchor the task to the why, the goal becomes clearer and more meaningful. Clarify expectations, scope, and success criteria. Delegation works best when people know what success looks like through your eyes. Be explicit about deadlines, deliverables, and quality standards. Think about it like a course assignment. Nowadays, we have rubrics for every course assignment. A rubric spells out what earns an A versus a B versus a C, and so on. That level of clarity empowers people to aim accurately toward what is required. And it gives you the peace of mind knowing expectations are aligned. Define decision-making authority. Be clear about where they have freedom to decide versus when they need your approval. Failing to set these boundaries leads to frustration, either because they move forward without your input or because they keep coming back for reinsurance when they don't need it. As leaders, we own the responsibility 100% to clarify these lanes early on. Number 2, agree on checkpoints. Set intentional touchpoints. No one likes a boss hovering over their shoulder. If you trust someone enough to delegate, trust them enough not to micromanage. Instead, establish specific check-in points at the start so you can review progress, remove obstacles, and answer questions without surprise interruptions. Align on how updates will be shared. Not every task requires a full meeting. Decide together what format works best: a quick text, a short email, a brief call, or a scheduled meeting. Choosing the right channel saves time and avoids frustration. And use checkpoints to guide, not control. Communicate that check-ins exist to provide support, not to redo their work. Done well, they empower people to move forward confidently while still giving you visibility and peace of mind. Lastly, provide confidence-building feedback. Hear me say that again. Provide confidence-building feedback. Start with what's working. Acknowledge and celebrate progress before offering corrections. Your team member has invested effort. Show them that you see it. Frame feedback as refinement. Think of feedback as fine-tuning, not tearing down. If your input is purely personal preference, resist the urge to Seagull in. I am taking my own advice here. Resist the urge to Seagull in. Focus on what genuinely improves the work. Don't make it about your personal preference. And reinforce trust. Use confidence-building language, like, you're on the right track. Here's a tweak to make it even stronger. Or, I know you can handle this. These words communicate respect, they build confidence, and they nurture a culture of trust. As I said, one of the biggest lessons I've learned about delegation came from being called out for the Seagull effect. I'd delegate a project, then swoop in with untimely feedback that derailed momentum, and then I'd fly away. It wasn't intentional, but it left my team feeling frustrated and second-guessed. And that moment, being called a Seagull, was a wake-up call. And it continues to remind me that how we delegate matters just as much as what we delegate. To any of my team members listening now, I give you full permission to call out Seagull whenever I'm failing on this one, okay? So remember, great delegation isn't just about handing something off. It's about giving clear direction up front so people understand the why, the expectations, and their decision-making authority. Agree on checkpoints that provide support without smothering progress, and offering confidence-building feedback that refines work while strengthening trust. When we delegate with clarity, structure, and encouragement, we empower our team members to succeed. And when we avoid the Seagull effect, swooping in only to critique, we create a culture where people feel ownership and confidence in the work they're entrusted to do. The opposite of the Seagull effect is trust. Show up to guide, not to undo. This is Leadership and Learning with Dr. JBT, signing off.